Hi, welcome back to my channel. Again, I am Lucinda, the left-handed crocheter, and today I'm still continuing my aluminum can art project, which right now at the point is a bird out of aluminum cans and paper mache. The last time I filmed, I was putting my bird together. So at this point, like I said, I was taking the paper earlier in my progress. At this point, like I said, I got the wiring of my bird down, the paper bags for mache, and the tape. And now we are going to be going into the part of the feathering of the tin cans. So this is a part here of my bird. As you can tell, when you're done, hopefully you guys can see what she is, but this is what I got done so far. And honestly, at this part, in this area, when it comes to the bird, when it comes to actually cutting out the aluminum cans of the bird, if you are of the age of primary school, I highly recommend you get an adult to help you, because this is where the sharp stuff comes in, and I'm not talking just scissors. Anybody who is, like, I want to say bar mitzvah age, so 13 and up, this is definitely a good project for you. Anybody below, I highly recommend adult supervision, because like I said, this is where things get sharp. And this is when the glue gun comes in. So, okay, well now at this point of the project with my aluminum cans and my bird, okay, I just want to do a quick apology. If I do sound a little breathy today, I am very asthmatic, and I've been having a lot of problems with my asthma. Where I live is very hot, very dry. Clearly, I live in the desert. Clearly, I live in the desert. So, my asthma has been acting up again. So, I do apologize if I sound like Darth Vader. I don't mean it. I really am sorry. But we're going to go ahead and get started. So, right now, at this point in the project with with my aluminum bird right here, like I said, this is more of like an upcycle presentation. I'm doing an upcycle piece where I'm taking recyclable work and turning it into art, of course. So right here, like I said, I'm working on my bird, and this here is the tail, the feathers, and I'm starting to get here on the bottom. Yes, there is options when it comes to the face of the bird. So with my example that I have, yes, they actually used the aluminum cans to make the face of the bird. I decided to do something different and use modeling clay. And the clay I used is air dry clay from Crayola. Like, you can get this at any art store. I want to say Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Walmart, anywhere that sells art supplies and clay. So that's where you can pretty much get all your stuff. So for like the bird's face and even the talons, like I said, it's up to you guys if you want to use the aluminum cans, or like I said, you can still use model clay. And like I said, I use this Crayola air dry model clay here. It works. I love it. It does a great job. I'm going to finish painting her face, Mod Podge it, really seal her in, and then I'm going to come in with the smaller feathers and then continue from that part. And my next video on my bird, she will definitely be when she's done, or when I do the base part. So I haven't gotten that far yet, so just enjoy the journey with me. But yes, model clay does wonders. That works too. Paint, pretty much when it comes to supplies, the sky's the limit. So for now, at this point in our project, we are going to be doing the actual cutting of the cans. Now, like I said, when it comes to cutting out cans, if you are under bar mitzvah age, under 13, primary school, I highly recommend have an adult to help you. Anybody 13 years and older, I think you guys pretty much got it. But still, I do highly recommend to have an adult or someone older to definitely keep a watch, just, if you just have any questions or stuff like that. So just keep in mind, safety first. So first things first, at this point now, what you need, glue gun, glue sticks, of course, and, glue sticks. I have a stylist, or like anytime anything to like push it down, you definitely want a stylist, because the thing is like the glue gun, I actually have my gun on low because the high will really burn. But when it's time to putting it together, so you can push it down with your fingers, but I'm gonna guarantee it's gonna, you can push it down with your fingers, but I guarantee it's gonna get warm real quick. So in some parts you can, so I'm just using a stylus. You can use a stick, you can use pretty much anything, sticks, anything you want to use to put it down, but I just had this stylus and I'll just push it down like this, and once it stays, it stays. So like I said, so you definitely want something to push it down with, because like I did use my hands to put it together, but it does warm up. And next you're gonna need, I have a small pair of scissors, like just, scissors you can get for school, and bigger scissors. I have a crocheting hook, because there's one part, if you want to curl the tips, you'll actually I'll actually take it, curl the tips. This is where my crocheting hook comes in. You can actually take it, wrap around the tip and let it go, and it's going to curl. So if you want to have a little bit of a curl, you can even use a stylus or your stick. Like I said, you can use that. And this is where things get real fun. An X-Acto knife or box cutter. So this is when I say, when it comes to children under bar mitzvah age, 13, this is where the parents come in, because box cutters. Now, and of course, aluminum cans. So the can we're going to be cutting up today, I have a little crush can, and I have a can from a Coca-Cola can. No, I am not sponsored by these guys. I just am using them for color. So that's pretty much, I am not sponsored by Coke. So now we're going to be cutting up the can. I want to move my glue gun over here, right there. So at this point, what I do is I've been keeping the little tabs in here, because I don't know, when I was a kid, me and my friends, we used to collect the tabs, make bracelets out of it and everything. So we collect the tabs. So I collect the tab, take the tab off. And a quick FYI, because this aluminum piece I'm working on, this is the first time I've ever really worked with like an upcycle kind of piece, using recyclable, like for example cans and stuff like that. So this is a learning process for myself, and I highly recommend. I have a lot of these cans still in my kitchen sink, and you have to really thoroughly rinse out the cans, wash out the cans, because you will get ants. Because I did have them on my other little table, and even though I thought I cleaned them out, which I did, I had a huge ant problem, and I spent pretty much most of the day, spraying down ants. So you definitely want to keep them. Like I said, the rest of them are in my sink. So I highly recommend wash your cans thoroughly, rinse them out thoroughly, because the last thing you need is an ant problem. And where I live, the whole valley that I live in is like one big ant hill. And around this time, it gets crazy. So you definitely want to be careful. So we're going to go ahead and get started cutting the cans. I also have goggles here for my eyes. So you definitely want to do that. So safety first. So I have a pair of goggles. So if anything flies, it won't fly into my face. But I also look like I belong on Breaking Bad. But yeah, so here we go. We just take the X-Acto knife, bring it out, and we're gonna here, let me bring that in. We're gonna cut this top part, and we're gonna cut the bottom part. So let me get my goggles on. There we go, and here we go. So we're just gonna kind of like slicing it through. Bring that in, put that right there. I'm gonna pull this out a little bit. See if I can get my little scissors in here. There we go. Okay, there you go. Put my mole back. Okay, so I did cut out the bottom part of the can. Now I am saving this because I do have a workshop coming up this Saturday from, I'm gonna say like 12 to 3. And I'm keeping these because it's really cool because when you do tin cans, these make good owl eyes. And then I'm gonna just trim this part off here. Okay, perfect. There we go. So we're gonna toss that. I'm gonna put this in my box. And then so now, yeah, just give me 1 second. Okay. And then now we have the can. So it's pretty much, we cut the top and the bottom out. This is where the big scissors come in. And we're just gonna cut this here, hold it, snipped here. So now we're cutting the can out like this. So it's gonna stretch out. Now we do have this part here where it kind of curves in. And at this point, I just will sit here and I'll cut it in sections. So these wings that I'm cutting right here, actually, this part here I'm cutting with the can, these are gonna be the wings. Now the cans that I'm cutting right now, at this point, I am now working on my wings. So I'm gonna be working on my wings and the back. And then once that's done, I'm gonna take a quick break, paint the face, because I'm gonna paint the beak and the eyes a little bit. And then I'm gonna be focusing on, ooh, there you go, it's a very big bird. And then I'm gonna be focusing on the stomach, and then that's when we're gonna start working on the base and everything. So this will be a full sculpture here. So that's what's kind of going on, but she's gonna hang out right there for now. And we're gonna cut the aluminum. So I'm gonna cut this groove part off so we have an even surface. So like I said, I'm gonna be doing the feathers, so these are gonna be a little bigger. So I'm gonna start here. I usually try to start at the more flattest part. I'm gonna start here at the base, and then you're gonna just kind of go in a round. So you're gonna make like pretty much a feather shape. So I'm gonna come here at the point, keep that point, bring it in, keep that round. So I'm gonna keep the bottom part here flat and the top pointed, because this is where the glue is gonna go, and then I'm gonna have it here. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. Okay. Okay, cut off that little groove part, nice and straight, see? Because you want it kind of like an even plane, like so, and then we're gonna continue. perfect. So now we got my 2 cans. We got 2 of my cans cut. Trust me, I have a lot more. But I'm not going to cut all my cans on film. I'm going to do those off camera. But next, we're going to go ahead. I'm going to cut up some more cans real quick. And then I'm going to come back and then we're going to start hot gluing. So I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, so now what we're going to be doing is we are going to be hot gluing the feathers onto my bird. So I'm going to bring her up a little closer. And then I'm going to put like, there you go. I'm just trying to keep her like, at this point, trying to keep her like a little bit more stable. So at this point, so I did cut a couple of cans. I did a couple, like an Arizona, those Arizona tea cans, those really nice long cans. Oh my gosh, those are awesome bird wings. And so here we go. We have a Arizona tea, and then we're just gonna come along here because when you actually work onto the bird, which is gonna flop over, of course. It's gonna, she needs to be posted. I'm trying to boost her up a little bit more. There we go. Okay, hopefully she stays. Because when you put the cans on, you want to work from the bottom up. Here, let me show you. So here I am gluing. And where's my stylus? Right here. Okay. Okay. Like I said, you want to stay safe. You don't want to burn your fingers too much, so you definitely want something to help it push down. There you go. Come these a little closer to me. Okay, here we go. And just in case, always keep some Band-Aids with you. That helps. So pretty much what I'm doing is I'm using my hot glue and I'm bringing it down the middle. And then when I hold the feather, it's just easier, hold it from the side. We'll bring this one up here because this is starting to pop up. And then with my stylus, push it down. Ooh, okay. I said be very safe. I just stepped on a little bit of a can on my foot. That kind of hurt. Like I said, be safe. That's why I keep trash cans everywhere. And when you're done, you definitely want to clean up. When you're cutting up the cans, when you're done cutting up, make sure, normally I have like a paper towel. You really want to clean up that area. Make sure everything goes into the trash can because it hurts when you step on it. Trust me. I could tell you from experience. Let's do this. by the time you're done, if you look like a spider rib, you know you're doing it right. Okay, this is what I got done so far. Like I said, you're gonna need a lot of cans. But at this point, because I was talking about curling the can, I am gonna be doing that here with my wings here. So, okay, so now I'm gonna show you how to pretty much curl the tip. And my crocheting hook I'm using is a, let me look. It is about a number 5 crochet hook. And basically what I'm going to do is you're going to take the tip here and then you're going to fold it up and then kind of curl it like a little curling iron, but with a crocheting hook. There you go. That, and then you got a nice little curl. I think I curled that a little too much, but that's okay. There you go. As you can see how everything kind of curls up a little bit, so it gives it a little bit more of a flame kind of flare. So that little curl like that. So that's actually pretty cool. So, okay, so pretty much when it comes to making the feathers with the aluminum cans, like I said, you definitely need a lot of cans. I can't really give you a number, but a lot of cans. Depending on your bird, depends on the cans. I have made myself a very big bird, so I'm going to need a lot of cans. If you're going to use a small bird, maybe a handful of cans. It depends on your actual project. So at this point, you want to go through and you just want to keep cutting those cans. Use different color cans, different kinds of cans. Use definitely different type of shapes of feathers. It's going to give a lot of good texture. And even think outside the box. You can use yarn, buttons, anything you want in this project. Like I said, it's pretty much at this point, all I ask is to express yourself. And so I'm going to go ahead and continue with this, and I will be continue filming later on when I start working on the base of the yucca tree that she's coming out of. So yes, I definitely, where I live, we have a lot of Joshua trees, and I just love those Joshua trees, so I definitely want to start incorporating them in my artwork. So like I said, this Saturday coming up at our gallery in Palmdale. I will definitely send you, I'll definitely post the information for everybody to see. So if you're in the Palmdale AV area, definitely come check us out. We're going to be getting ready for our new upcycle show coming in June, and definitely come and check it out. Definitely come and check us out. Thank you.